No, it's true. We literally see each other in our like worst moments.
Yeah.
Like, we've only seen each other in our worst moments.
So why you look at me when you say
I know, because you were
like, yeah.
Literally everyone was like,
No.
Worst moments.
Worst moments.
Hey, my name is Radeep, and I'm going to be analyzing and reacting to. She's not really a reaction because I've already seen this interview. It's an interview by the cast of Stranger Things for their upcoming season. The first part's already out, and I'm a big fan personally, so I watched this interview and noticed that there are some great storytelling and communication principles that you and I can both learn from. So let's go through the clip. I'm going to keep pausing in the middle to talk about some communication and storytelling lessons that we can take away, and I hope you get some value out of it.
My favorite memory from season 4 was when we were shooting in New Mexico. We had to do this like one-take action sequence that like took a lot of like planning, and bullets were flying, and you know, we had to duck, and like glass was breaking, but like we only had like 3 chances at it. And there was a take where like everything was just going perfect. Like it was just like perfect, like
Great.
everything was going great. Like we're all just like in the rhythm. Like it's so great. And like what's supposed to happen at the end of the scene is like we're supposed to run. It's like in this house, and then a soldier's supposed to come in and get shot, and then like shoot his gun up in the air, and like that's the kind of the end of the scene. But like what happened was like there's 50 seconds, like a whole minute before that of stuff before the scene ends. So it's like, okay, we got through all the hard stuff. Now all we need to do is the soldier just needs to run in and fake death, and that's it. And so we do everything, like get there, and then the camera whips to the door, and the soldier is not there. And we're all sitting on the floor, and we're like, oh my god, dude, we just did all that for nothing. Like everything is like, we have to do. Your favorite memory? No, it's coming. Okay. I was like, we have to do this again. That sucks.
Like hell.
We're all on the ground, like heavy breathing, and then all of a sudden, they cut. 40 seconds later, a door gets kicked in, and the stunt guy's like, and then shoots his gun up in the air, and then like pretends to die, and then lays down all dead, and then like no one says anything. Everyone's just like looking at each other like. And then he got up and he was like, I think that went well.
So what's great about this story? It like makes me laugh every time, and the main reason for it, what I feel, is that Finn Wolfhard, the actor, used some fundamental storytelling techniques. The great thing about the story is that even if you've not seen the show or anything like that, you have no idea who is who, the story is still funny and it still makes sense. And that's because in the very beginning, he sets the plot in a concise and clear manner. There's a long one-shot sequence to shoot, and we only have 3 chances to do it. That sets the plot pretty clearly. And now we all know that something's going to go wrong here in the story. But what's great is how he uses tension to really build up towards the ending. And the detail that he uses of how everyone was so relieved that the take went well, and now only the easiest part of the whole shot is remaining. That makes the ending so much funnier, because it really brings out an emotion that, oh my god, everyone worked so hard, and that just because of this small screw up, the entire scene would have to be shot again. Also, I just love Kate and Matarazu's laugh. It's so unfiltered and it's almost contagious.
Looking at each other like.
Now I'm going to skip a little ahead and take you to another story, and we'll talk about it after we watch it.
Maybe you remember, but it was with Mason.
In like the final episode?
Yeah, final episode. Something that we're doing that I can't talk about. But it's
Yes.
like
I was trying to figure out what the line was that you.
yeah, and I was like, eh. Then you talking about that, and I was supposed to do something, but I was just like making a sound. I was like, eh. And
It was like a very panicked scene.
Were you saying a line and you forgot the line?
it was a very no, but it sounded like I was like, eh. And he kept like laughing, and it was a running joke. So every time we had to do that scene, oh man,
You two are so fun together though.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
guys are so fun.
Oh, and I used to remember
You like pick them up and like
yeah, just
spin them around. Yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah, that was funny.
Now, Finn Wolfhard's story was a lot funnier. Why? Simply because he had a lot more that he could reveal. In the next story by Caleb, he could not really reveal much information. So because we lack that detail, it's hard to connect with the story and actually understand what is going on over there. So the main principle is that if we're trying to tell anybody any sort of story, detail is the main key. It helps build up tension, anticipation, and makes our stories either more intense or funny. Speaking of funny stories, let's check out Sadie Sink's.
The one that just really stands out to me from season 4 is, it was a night shoot. We were in the middle of the woods. It was us three. And I think it was probably like 5:30 a.m. We've been shooting all night.
What you're talking about.
And then I'm napping in my chair, and then I hear like the morning birds, and like there's a little bit of light in the horizon, and I open my eyes, and Caleb and Gaten are just sitting across from me in dead silence, just like staring ahead, eating a full-size like quesadilla, like a chicken quesadilla.
Going to town. Going to town.
In silence.
All you hear is,
I love this story because it uses one of my favorite techniques called Paraprosdokian. It basically means talking about something that's completely normal, having a lot of detail around it, and finally having a completely unexpected, almost ridiculous twist towards the end. And it's the twist that makes the entire story funny. In Sadie Sink's story, it's a pretty normal beginning, that she's sleeping and the birds are chirping, it's a nice day. But then it's the ending, and it's the ridiculousness of it that makes it so funny. We have an entire video on this technique with a bunch of more interviews by different people. Highly recommend you check that out if you want to know how you can be funnier when you're telling stories.
Lastly, our favorite memory from set from season 4 was just getting to be all together. I feel like we're always split up. I just liked, like, in the first episode, like, all of us actually getting to, like, have scenes together in the high school. Like, that was, like, just the best. That scene where, like, in the first episode where, like, you turn around and, like, you're telling us, like, that we should be cool or whatever. Yeah. That's not, whatever. It's like, there's a scene in the hallway, there's a scene, like, that we do in high school, and I remember just, like, really loving doing it.
It's incredible work.
Just being together was really nice. You savor those moments because in the first season, all of our scenes are together.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, it just was
It's
like,
so weird
we're just
to have
used
that
to
separation.
it. And then it's just like a treat when you all get to like hang out and like it's the OG.
Feels like the old days.
Yeah.
I think something that makes a relationship so special is when we're in between seasons, it's, you know, we don't have to talk all the time, and like we can go a long time without seeing each other, but we know that we're either going to be doing press or going back for a new season. So after season 5, for that to be it, and there not being like a set date for when we can see each other again.
Now's the time you have to like actually make an effort to be in each other's lives.
I know.
yeah. I think like all of season 5, I'm gonna just hang out with everyone every day.
Yeah, that's how I feel
Yeah.
too.
Me too.
I'm gonna milk it.
Yeah, milk for all it's worth.
We get off at 2 a.m. Hey, who's hanging out? Where we going?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I just want to take a moment to capture this part of the interview as well, because child actors in particular, or people who have seen success at a very young age, like these people, can get a lot of scrutiny because it's easy for them to be spotted as being arrogant or anything like that because they have success very early on. But the great thing is that I've seen this in a bunch of their interviews, that they don't talk so much about their own acting prowess or anything like that. They just talk about how they like being together and the bond that they've created with the cast and the crew members, and how they enjoy the process of creating something like the show. And it's things like these that make them sound very genuine and much more likable as a cast, and it makes us look at them more as humans as opposed to celebrities. So that's the communication analysis for the Stranger Things interview. Hope you got some value from it, and be sure to check out some of our other videos soon.